saw you create a charity, the Ahman Green Foundation for underserved children to gain access to games and other things. Is that what it is?
Yep, but when I was playing, I did free football camps for kids.
Yeah.
And now, since I'm retired, I'm able to do free camps for kids as esports camps. So I just did one. I'm actually that's why I'm here in Kansas now. So during the day, started at 9, ended at 3 p.m. was my esports camps. My second year doing it here in Mayetta, Kansas, on a prairie band Potawatomi reservation here in Kansas. We actually had a hell of a day today. I had a really good talk with them about sportsmanship and accountability and being good teamwork, having good teamwork and good communication in FPS games and team games overall. And then we had a session of Fortnite.
Boomer grounds, yeah, we back on the wave. 2 boomers in the lobby, still making plays. From the shop to the tavern, we don't behave. Talk meta, talk life, talk common, rank grades. Boomer grounds, turn it up, press play. Old school feel with the new school sway. Every week, new heat, let it run, don't fade. If you came for the vibes, you in the right place. Yeah, welcome to the pop, pull a chair to the table. BPM low, but the read still fatal. Boomer brain, but the line stay stable. Hit them with the level ups, label it a fable. Cue up, we discussing every patch, every tweak. Broken comps, bad beats, every high roll streak. From the goldens in the shop to the throws on a misplay. Clip it for the chat, that's a boomer kind of replay. Late night grind, but the jokes stay timeless. Talk real life, little tilt, little kindness. From the YouTube feed to the Twitch chat sounds. If you know, then you know this is Boomer Grounds.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Boomer Grounds podcast. You have me and Howard here today with potentially a special guest joining us a little bit later. But we have a lot to talk about. We have Asmongold being banned. We have some clavicular news, a bunch of news about TikTok and whatnot, changing of management a little bit on top of Twitch. So a bunch of big news. But first, let's get caught up. Howard, how have you been and what have you been up to this last week?
You know, I haven't got a lot to report. I've been sick for like 4 or 5 days. I ain't been sleeping. My stomach has been a wasteland. So I ain't got nothing good. I've been playing a lot of Battlegrounds. I'm really enjoying, this is going to sound so stupid, Water Park Simulator. Absolutely loving it, to the point where I've actually started talking back to the game. And I don't know if anybody has played it, but you have to, there are people who try to sneak in. You have to throw out people who sneak in. There are people who come in just to take pictures of people in bathing suits they label as perverts. You got to throw out the perverts, all these things. I've now started screaming at people. My wife will be sitting there, will be dead quiet. We're watching TV. I'm playing my game. And I'll just be like, no pictures in my facility. Get out of here. She'll be like, who the hell are you talking to? And I'm like, I'll just talk to the game. It's fine. But that's about it. So not a lot to report on my end. What about you? What have you been up to?
I've been playing a lot of Battlegrounds. Actually been quite a bit of fun. I can only play it on PC. I tried playing it on my iPad, and literally the iPad just crashes when I try to load up Battlegrounds. Been a problem every time there's a Dark Moon Fair thing in the shop on my iPad. I've uninstalled, reinstalled it like 10, 20 times, some sort of issue with the iPads, and I don't know why it hasn't been fixed, but I know it's been reported before, so hopefully they figure something out. Maybe it's only like certain models of iPad it causes crashes or something, but yeah, it's a giant pain in the butt. Also, anyways, so I've tried playing on my phone, and every tribe happens to be APM except for pretty much beasts, and it is impossible to get through turns on your phone. Like even on the PC, a lot of times I'm floating like 15, 20 gold on some tribes. And like trying to do it on mobile, we had to do a bunch of discoverers and stuff for like pirates and things. Mm-hmm. And it is completely unplayable. Like you cannot play at a relatively competitive level, which is I'm currently at like 7,500 MMR right now. And want to be able to have like consistently good results is just too hard. New magic set got released today. It is the Hobbit. It looks like kind of fun. It's a smaller set. It looks pretty fun. I've only done one draft of it so far. But it looks kind of fun. I don't know how well it's going to hold up and all that stuff, but it's been pretty fun for what it is. There's a big collector box event, I think, this weekend. It said something like 60 hours away, which is quite soon after the release of the game on Arena. So I don't know how much money we're going to be in this weekend. So I figure Hobbit will be a good seller. Right.
Yeah.
And last time I think I was in for like 1,500, but I still have $2,000 worth of boxes from the last one I played, but I already sold $2,600 worth of it off. So
nice.
I have a very good profit from that one. It just like takes 3 months to be able to, or 4 months to be able to actually see the money back. So we'll see how deep we get this weekend. We'll see if the wife lets me just rack up the credit card charges this weekend. I'm like, time to go look for discounts on iTunes and Google Play gift cards this weekend, because we gotta be spending a lot there, honey.
Absolutely.
Anyways, let's get on to the news of the week. A lot of actually big topics that actually happened this week. First is a Howard Moon favorite, Asmongold, getting banned for 2 weeks. I mean, he said some pretty awful things, talking about how they should is it illegal immigrants kids of illegal immigrants should be shot or something if they're trying to cross the border or something along those lines?
What he said was that children crossing the border illegally should be shot because illegal people, or people without credentials, because I don't like the term illegals, people who are not documented trying to enter into the U.S. Are so evil, they will use children as shields, knowing that you won't shoot a kid. So you got to shoot the kids so that they learn not to use the kids as human shields. So the solution isn't, let's try to do something so that people don't feel like they have to sneak into the country or hold children up as a human shield. Let's not fix the problem. Let's just shoot everybody, and then we don't have to worry about it. That's like, it is the stupidest. A guy who has said so much stupid shit to come out and endorse in any way, shape, or form shooting children is not only, one, despicable, but two, I should be shocked that this came out of any human being's mouth. And then I saw it was Asmongold, and I went, that is how far gone I am with this guy. It doesn't shock me that he's advocating shooting children as a solution to the U.S.'s immigration problem.
Yeah, I mean, it is totally ridiculous. Like, and people were like shocked, like, oh, I can't believe he got banned. Here's my plea, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, just take the ban. You made such a stupid comment. Like, come on. Like, you deserve the ban. You can't be talking about shooting kids. Like, just use a little bit of basic logic for it, and just take it and move on.
And at this point, we know he does this on purpose.
Yeah.
This is intentional. This is intentional because one of two things happens. Either the internet starts talking about him because he said something so outside the craziness that people are going to want to talk about it, or he's going to get banned and people are going to talk about his craziness. Either way, his social numbers go up. He gets exposure. That's all he freaking cares about. He is a literal train wreck in progress. Okay. That's the problem isn't the problem isn't the border guys in the US. I'm not going to go a whole political rant here. The problem is our immigration system is so bad that we have created a crisis at the border. And this isn't recent. This is 50 years worth of shitty policy. So this ain't something we're going to fix overnight. But the solution to our immigration problems in the United States is not shoot the kids so that they don't get used as human shields. That is not the solution.
Yeah, when I saw it, I just like, oh man, this is going to bring all the rage out of Howard.
I saw it on Friday, and I was at dinner with my wife. And I saw it about 5 minutes before we sat down. And she said, "What's new?" I said, "You really don't want to ask me that question." I said, "The only person that's happy to see that this is a headline is Terry. And not because Terry advocates violence, but Terry's going to be like, oh, this is going to be great content when Howard goes off about it." It is just...
statement.
It is so reprehensibly evil to think that the solution to any of the world's ills is let's kill the kids. That's it.
Let's move on to another Howard Moon favorite in Clavicular.
Oh no, back to back?
Yeah, back to back. We'll get the well, this one is not he didn't do anything stupid this time, okay? So you can put the glasses back on.
I'll wait until I hear it.
Clavicular announced 2 days ago he is no longer going to be exclusive with Kick, as going to start multi-streaming to Twitch and X. And I think this is something there must have been some sort of fallout with Kick, because Kick was paying millions of dollars a month for his clip farming, and something must have happened. Like, I am totally shocked that he would make a move this major for his career to say he's just no longer just going to be on Kick. Like, this is like, we don't like Clavicular at all. Obviously, none of us here are fans of him or the.
I'm a huge fan. Huge fan. Love him.
Yeah, but like, something must have gone down. Some shit must have gone down between him and Kick for him to be like, I'm just going to switch to multi-streaming on Twitch and X as well. So this is the Clavicular news.
Okay, so let's go down the conspiracy hole on this one, because you're right. That's the amount of money that Kick has put into it and tried to make off of him. This is a very strange move. He's not going to last very long on Twitch with his brand of bullshit, because Twitch is not going to let you. I'm trying to pull it together here, guys, because I don't want to rant. Twitch is not going to let you go into clubs and live stream you doing meth and then being rushed to the hospital. They're not going to put up with that. And that has happened. Technically, when he breaks bones in his face for his looks maxing bullshit, that's self-harm. Twitch is going to have a problem with that. So in my mind, he's thinking to himself, this is a move that isn't so much about Twitch, but more about moving to X. So now in my mind, I see a darkened room with Elon Musk and Clavicular. And Elon Musk is like, here's what we're going to do. You're going to move to Twitch and X. You're going to last about a week on Twitch. And then X is going to accidentally become your exclusive streaming home. And we're going to show the world that X is the best place for everybody because we don't do stupid shit like Twitch does. That's the only thing I can come up with in my head that makes any sense. Because it's a race to the bottom if him and Asmongold are both on Twitch at the same time, because they're both going to get banned regularly. These bans are going to happen all the goddamn time.
I mean, they're both on Kick, right? And they're like two of the bigger people on Kick. So
for him to be moving away from Kick, something had to happen. But I think the move to Twitch is ceremonial at best, because he probably violated Twitch's terms of service just by announcing the move. He probably doesn't even have to go live on Twitch. He's already violated the TOS. So, I mean, there's just, and we see this lately. There was I don't know if it's on our list, Perez Hilton.
Oh yeah, I didn't mention it at all. I thought I was too sad and to really talk about.
But it's an example of a person live streaming self-harm. It is an area that people are really focused on right now. So Twitch is going to probably pay attention to it. And, what you define as self-harm is, I guess you could argue it, but I would say trying to intentionally break bones in my face to make them heal a different way could be categorized as self-harm.
Yeah, I don't think Twitch would take that stance against it, just because he brings in big numbers, and we've traditionally seen they don't really give a shit about what you do if you keep bringing in big numbers. So
that's why their lifetime bans are only 3 days long.
Yeah,
but they're still going to put the bans in place to try and make it look like they give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, something major must have gone down. Like maybe they massively cut his clipping budget or something. But
Maybe.
yeah, I'm really surprised when I saw this. I was like, this can't be real. While scrolling through X looking for like content or for stuff for us to talk about, I was like, what? And like people are like, it actually came from his actual Twitter account. So I was like, holy shit, this is actually like really really big news.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just there's a very good chance, and actually, the most likely scenario is what you just described. Something happened between him and Kick, and now he's either moving or he's trying to piss off Kick because he's angry. Either way, it is a big change.
All right, next big piece of major news. Whatnot just raised another $545 million in Series G funding. Uh, they're obviously like the biggest player now in the live selling market, at least in North America. Like, if you watch any of the streams for like things that have been happening, like the national for sports cars, Fanatics Fest, anything sports car related, Pokemon related. They were part of Streamer University. Um, they have a massive online presence now. We talked about them a little last week because they were their chief product officer, or I think or something was talking about Twitch last week. Yeah, but they are a massive company. Just raised another huge amount of funding. They're probably still hemorrhaging money because I don't know how they can spend as much as they do on advertising and still make money. Because literally, you see every stream being sponsored by Whatnot in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, they are a massive seller of memorabilia and cards, and yeah, this is just another big thing, big step for them when they raised all that money. I think this just happened yesterday, I believe, yesterday or 2 days ago. Yeah, probably yesterday.
I'm scrolling through the main page right now, and there is dozens of live breaks happening, hundreds of live breaks happening across every possible. I'm just looking at trading card games. I'm not even going. If I go to football cards, I guarantee you there's 1,000 hits there because the season's coming up.
Yeah,
but there's all. I mean, this is the new thing. Pack breaks are the new thing. So, well, I say they're the new things. They're not really the new things, but they're very popular right now. You know. Oh my God! Rip Hamilton is on.
I don't think it's actually him. There's a channel called Rip Hamilton Rips.
Oh, thank God! Yeah, I'm seeing Rip Hamilton breaks, and he's got sealed Topps decks from the National, which was last weekend. The National Sports Card Collectors. Yeah. Those things are extremely rare and hard to get. I've been to the National, and they're really, really hard to get. So, so I get the popularity of it. I still disagree with their chief product officer. I just remember last week everything he was talking about was small picture, which got a really great comment on the internet, and then I couldn't find it when I found it. I can't remember which site it was on. Was it one of our shorts? Somebody called me an old head.
Yeah,
that doesn't, and I couldn't find it to show my wife. She was like, "So," because that's like her Sunday thing now. Sunday mornings, she's like, "All right, who's yelled at you on the internet this week?" And I'm like, "All right, I'll show you." And I couldn't find it. I could not find it again. But but good for them. I mean, there's a market for it. Go out there and make the money. As long as you're fulfilling the product, you're taking these. Okay, this guy bought this pack. I'm going to send. As long as you're fulfilling the product, it's great.
Yeah, well, they're not in charge of fulfillment, right? Like it's the seller that's in charge. But I know this live selling has been very, very popular in China for a long time prior to this. This feels like this is just going to be like the internet replacement of Home Shopping Network. Yeah. And it's much, much faster. Like the way, if you ever seen the ones in China, there's this one channel, the lady just like puts on an outfit, spins around, takes it off, and just pass another outfit. She's like, this is the serial number, puts it on, takes it off, just another outfit, puts it on, takes it off. I'm like, holy shit. Like the number of products she sells is insane. And it's just like, crazy. And like this is just like the wet dream of people that like were addicted to Home Shopping Network and that sort of stuff.
The last time I was at the National Sports Collectors Convention was literally 10 years ago because I got a Facebook memory about being there. And I remember walking through the dealer area and there had to be 300 people swarming this one dealer. And I was like, what the hell is going on at that one dealer? Because usually it means a giveaway or something, and I'll take a giveaway. And when I got closer to it, it was pack breaks. It was people who had bought into a case break of something. And there was a guy at a table who was literally picking up a pack of cards. I didn't see what the hell they were opening. A pack of cards to go, okay, this is Terry T. Terry T, where are you? Terry T, all right, come on up, Terry. And they were literally doing, and they did this for hours. And people were just kept buying in. They were doing it, as long as people were buying in, they were doing these rips live. It was bizarre to see, but I was like, all right, I ain't got the time to do this. But yeah, it's been around for a while now, and now it's spread to the internet, and it's going to be huge. Yeah. It's, like you said, new home shopping network evolved into eBay is now evolving into Whatnot, it looks like. Yeah. So,
I mean, eBay is trying to fight it. They've created their own eBay Live, but I don't know if it caught in the momentum that Whatnot is. Like, I could see potentially eBay just buying out Whatnot eventually or something. I think eBay probably still has the purchasing power to buy out a company like Whatnot.
They bought PayPal.
Yeah.
I think that, and then maybe that's Whatnot's end game. Let's get as huge as we can, as fast as we can, and see if we can't get a rival to take us out. A rival to come and just drive a dump truck full of money up to my front door.
Yeah. They're enormous. Like, I haven't actually bought anything from them. I've watched it a little. It's not really my thing, but yeah, like, it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy how much is going on. All right, other news. Walt Disney actually created a partnership with TikTok this week, allowing their content to be legally shared on the actual TikTok app. You're allowed to create short-form videos for it. So there's some special program for it. And then I think it also ended up being featured on Disney Plus. But people who opt in could actually create content that will be shared on both TikTok and I don't know what verts are on Disney Plus. I don't actually have Disney Plus, but they create an actual partnership with content creation sharing between the two, which seems like a massive move for TikTok. Yeah.
I mean, it's a smart move. We talked, I think last week or the week before, we talked about how content creation and traditional legacy media outlets were starting to work together. And I think TikTok makes a lot of sense because the shorter attention span. Well, that's not the word. It's not the shorter attention span, but the shorter content time seems to be very popular right now. So it makes a lot of sense to be going with TikTok because even the other places, other distributors, that kind of stuff like YouTube and Instagram and places like, they've been moving towards shorter presentation times themselves. So obviously the trend is there. So this just makes a lot of sense. It's interesting just because Disney has been so protective of its IP for so long. Like they're the first. You put up any sort of Disney on YouTube, and you've got maybe a half hour before they got it taken down because they've got a complaint filed against it. They're usually pretty aggressive with that stuff. So it's interesting to see them reach out that way. But I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a move in like the right direction because like content is obviously going towards short form, and the fans who love Disney are always like super passionate, and then promoting the brand and then be able to cross it over into like Disney selling more merch and more of their stuff just seems logical. And so it makes a lot of sense that they're able to do it. I mean, they're probably gonna have a bunch of like creative control over, like, you can't essentially shit talk them over on their platforms. But if you just want to use their content to like be like hyped or promotion or talking about storylines and all that sort of stuff, then I mean, it just makes a lot of sense that they would want to have it and be able to have it, be able to show it on like the Disney Plus app and all that other stuff.
And Disney has been moving in this direction itself for quite a while now. I think it's I don't have Disney Plus, but I have a friend who has it, and he lets me steal his password. Don't tell Disney. And they've been for a while been trying to move to shorter. They're still doing regular content, but like they did a series, Legends of the Jedi, which were all quick 10, maybe 13-minute hits, which is long for short form. Don't get me wrong. But like when you're talking about their traditional shows are 30 minutes to an hour, and now all of a sudden they're putting out stuff that's 10 to 15 minutes. That's kind of a big change. Legends of the Jedi was very successful. They did a Legends of the Empire series. They did a Legends of the Sith series. They did all these. So I think for a while now, Disney has been seeing the short form value. It just makes perfect sense to do it with TikTok.
Yeah. All right.
Merch tech goes.
Some other major moves that actually just happened earlier today. New chief marketing officer coming into Twitch. She's named Christine Cassis, and she used to work at Pinterest, Reddit, Google, and most recently Shopify. She put out like a statement here talking about how there's essentially two communities on the internet. One that built around algorithmic feed, such as YouTube, and more a second one about passive consumption, where you're just kind of watching it on the side, watching streams and all that sort of stuff, and talking about how Twitch is in the middle of it. She's trying to, help with the storytellers and all that sort of stuff. The usual, the usual mumbo jumbo that comes out from corporations about when I'm talking about the product that they're working for. But I mean, it's a big hire for Twitch.
Yes.
She's been around from what it sounds like, quite a while, and hopefully this gets things out of Dan Clancy's hands when it comes to marketing stuff, because whenever he talks, man, it's just bad news for the internet.
Like you and I were at TwitchCon in 23 in Vegas, and opening ceremonies, right? We're sitting there and we're like, this is going to be big, and they do the big opening, and I can't remember who the host was, but they riled the whole place up, and they're like, now let's welcome Dan Clancy. Dan Clancy comes out and he waves, and 5 minutes later, we were all looking at our watches. 5 minutes into his speech, we're like looking at watches, and I'm just like, when are we going to get to something actually that is interesting to us? Oh God, I'm just drew a blank on his name. The guy who founded Apple.
Steve Jobs.
He's no Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs could come out on the stage and actually generate interest in what he was saying. Look at this great thing we have. Here's what we're doing. Oh my God, wow, this is really interesting. Dan Clancy comes out there, and I'm like, what's the next act? Is you guys got one of the vaudeville hooks you see in the old movies where they just drag the bad performer off? Because we could use it. Fortunately, that was the year they had the live proposal on stage right after him, and it kind of saved the mood. Once they got Dan out of the way and there was a live proposal, everybody was like back into it. But yeah, I see him go live, and I can't put it on. There's nothing about his presentation that interests me. Nothing.
I mean, also like the way he communicates things, and the things that he presents as like important tend not to be like very important to what the Twitch audience, at least our audience, cares about. And things that should be important just like don't get addressed. They needed someone to at least be like the face and mouth of the organization that wasn't him.
Face.
Because every time it was him, you're just like, what? Like you watch him go on podcasts or talk to people, you're just like, oh my God, it's like watching this cringy old man just talking about things that he doesn't seems like so out of touch. And maybe he's a great CEO. Like, I don't know like what happens behind the scenes, but man, he is a terrible face of the company. Absolutely like the worst. Just like the things he says, it just makes no sense. And it offers like every time he's talking, it's just like, oh my God, they need to fire this guy because he doesn't know what the fuck people care about. Why is he talking about this random shit? Or
you know what the equivalent is? The equivalent is coaches who try to become broadcasters.
Oh yeah.
Like you see this in NFL all the time, right? There's a coach like Bill Cowher retires as the Steelers coach, and he goes on to and his first year or two, he was boring as hell. He got better as time went on, but there are some guys, you put them in the studio and you're just like, I can't watch this. This is absolutely punishing to me. That's why some former players, they move them to the booth or things, or they can't hold the audience. You could be great at what you do and be a terrible public speaker. they're not mutually exclusive. Bill Belichick is an amazing coach. There is never in a million years I would watch a football game where he was the color commentator. It would probably bore me to sleep. He doesn't have the personality you need to sell what you're trying to sell. And on the other hand, you got the John Maddens of the world, who when Madden first retired was a brilliant coach. The game changed a lot while he broadcast that. People would be like, oh, he's out of touch with the game. And that was true because he hadn't coached the game in like 30 years. But he was a dynamic presence in the booth. He made people want. He's to the point where the guy's been dead for like 10 years and they still name the game after him every year because he was that much of a force in getting football out there and making it even more popular. So, Dan could be a great CEO and be as boring as milquetoast at the same time. It is possible.
Yeah. I hope that's actually the case because from what we see from the front-facing part of it, yeah, everything is just bad. And I'm like, I can't wait till this guy gets fired. But maybe he's making them a bunch of extra money or like correcting the ship in the back. But who knows? But he's definitely does not deserve to be the face of the company.
And the best part of this conversation is that we know he'll never see this commentary. We don't have to worry about him being angry at us or anything like that because neither of us are young women. So we know that Dan ain't watching our streams.
I mean, maybe this clip blows up on some short form content and some woman comments about it and then he sees it.
Yeah. Extra Emily retweets it or something like that. And the next thing you know, we got a special guest. Dan Clancy's coming on to do like a magic show and prove that he's not boring. So.
Oh, okay. Those were the major topics of the week. I don't really have much else pulled up for this week because our special guest does not seem to be here. So I have a feeling he got the time wrong because last time we talked prior, he asked if we could do it later. And then before we decided to move it to this date, and I think he may have thought it was the time he asked to move it to, but I don't know. But seems like he's not here. So hopefully he shows up a little later, and then unfortunately I had to do it solo without Howard, and Howard doesn't get to meet his hero Ahman Green. But
I got a lot of heroes, man. I've been doing fantasy football for almost 30 years at this point. Actually, longer than that. Yeah, it's our 33rd year of fantasy football in my league. So
yeah. So if
he
does come,
23.
Yeah, if he does come up later, maybe I'll just splice it in with this episode combined. Then all of a sudden,
that's fine.
Just be me by myself and pour, I'll get Howard in there talking fantasy football with Aman, which will be sad.
Well,
maybe I'll
just
wake
ask
him
him.
up out of your sleep.
Yeah. If I don't get to talk to him, just ask him the one question I wanted to ask, which is you've played with a number of legendary quarterbacks, including Warren Moon, Brett Favre, and Aaron Rodgers. So who is the best quarterback you ever played with, and why is it Matt Hasselbeck? That's the question I want asked.
All right, I'll definitely try to answer. I'll mess if he does come on. Like the time he proposed back then was an hour from now, and maybe Howard
I'll be asleep.
Lack of sleep state might be awake. You might be asleep.
It's possible. It's possible.
If he is, I'll shoot you a DM. But
all right.
If not, we're just gonna end up with a really short episode of this week's podcast. Because I didn't pull out that much information because I thought we'd just cover a few big pieces of news that happened this week, and then we'll talk to Aman.
We did.
Hello, everyone, and our special guest is here. This is Mr. Ahman Green. Let me start by glazing you up first and talk about all your accomplishments. All-time leading rusher of the Green Bay Packers with 4 Pro Bowl appearances. Hall of Fame for the University of Nebraska. Hall of Fame for the Green Bay Packers. The only player in NFL history to record at least 1,850 yards, average 5 yards per carry, and score 20 touchdowns and catch 50 passes in the season. Also, the only NFL running back to ever have 240 yards and 3 touchdowns in the game, as well as now moving into the streaming world and esports. Hello, Mr. Green. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Mr. Terry Sang. So how you doing? I'm doing great. I'm doing really good. Yep.
You seem to be out enjoying the sunshine, which many of the people that stream do not ever do.
Yeah, I met a friend of mine. So a couple years ago, so last year I started to do an esports camp here in Mayetta, Kansas, and right now I'm at Hoyt High School, who does it's their last week of training, like hell. They call it Hell Week, so
Yeah.
training camp before training camp, and so then their season starts. So a friend of mine, Cody Wilson, is the wide receivers coach, special teams coach here. So I came out to practice just to hang out, say some inspirational stuff to the kids before they started their last practice of the day here in Kansas. Weather's great, and you see the sun's out. It's nice and toasty, so it's a good day. It's a good day out here.
Are you a more of a hot weather person or a cold weather person?
Oh well, I say by business I was cold weather because I had to live and work in Wisconsin, but by choice, oh, I'm warm weather all day, baby. By choice. Yeah.
All right.
Shoot.
Let's talk about your journey into gaming because a lot of people don't know that you're currently now streaming. You have a gaming podcast with your friend Akido. How did
Yep.
you end up getting started going into the gaming space and the streaming space?
One, because I was a gamer since I was 5.
All right.
And my dad got me into PC gaming first. He had me on the Apple II PC playing
Oh man.
Carmen San Diego and Oregon Trail on the old school there.
Yeah,
And then,
I played those as well. On the Apple
yep,
2
yep.
Apple 2C back in the old days
y-
on the floppy
that
disk.
way back. Yeah, the Apple IIc, and learned how to use a mouse, learned how to use the keyboard then at 5. And then 6, we got a ColecoVision. And then I earned my Nintendo because I had good grades and I was being a good kid in school. That was my rules from my mom and dad. And so I loved the Nintendo along with Coleco because Coleco had I had Zaxxon and
Yeah.
Donkey Kong. I wore those games out. I played them religiously. It was almost like a speed run.
Yeah.
If I was speed run, I could speed run Zaxxon the whole game in like, I don't know, 30 minutes or something like that. It was crazy. And then Nintendo came, Duck Hunt, and first Super Mario Brothers, Legend of Zelda was my first, and Tecmo Bowl was my first 4 or 5 games that I got. So that's how it started. And then, between, obviously football career hits, college, pro, and then I always was a gamer. So my days when I had an off day or I had a bad game where I just want to detach, I play some Hitman, I play GTA, all the fun stuff like that. and and then once I got out of football, I became a fanboy. I started traveling to all the cons. So I go to San Diego Comic Con,
Nice.
E3, DreamHack, PAX. I heard about all these cons. I was like, you know what? I'm retired now. I got extra time in the summer. I could actually go to it. So I did, and then found out, man, it's like, oh my God, this is so fun to see people that are in the gaming, in the anime, in the movies like I am. It was cool. It's cool to see and be a part of. And then I flipped the switch in my head like I always did as a kid and learned, it was like, you know what? I'm gonna reconnect with some of the people I knew because I connected during my career with EA Sports. And so I will always do the Madden Bowls with them
Yeah.
at Super Bowl. I would fly in just for a Madden Bowl and then fly me back out. I'm not in the game, so I'm gonna be here in wherever the Super Bowl is at. But I was like, look, I'll come there to play Madden and get a nice little paycheck. Let's go. It was fun. And so reconnect with those people at EA and other companies, headset companies, and they started to like really learn that I was not just trying to get a game code off of them. They was like, man, this guy's legit. Like he's talking video games, he's talking anime, he does this. We saw him do this event last year or last week in Los Angeles at E3 and boom, boom, boom. So people started to really see that I was being authentic. This was who I am. I was not just a football player by trade or by art, by talent, but I'm in it. I'm gaming too, and so I want to really grow something, from the ground up, hanging out at cons, but not just for fun, but to maybe make some business connections, but then also, again, at the end of the day, work. If I don't love what I do, I'm not going to do it, basically. And so that's what I end up shooting for with that after football, because that's what my goal with football. I love football, so I did it for a long time, and now I love video games, and I'm loving coaching it or on all levels or just being a part of something. I'll do it. And so that's where I'm at now, loving what I do, coaching esports camps, and I say having a good time at the end of the day.
What kind of made you go toward the actual streaming part though, as opposed to just the esports camps and just playing games in general? Because like
Oh
it's a
man, so
big
that
step.
yeah,
It's a big step
yeah, it
going to
was.
streaming.
It's big step and big step for even a guy that is a natural introvert. Okay.
Yeah,
And what got me into it was being me and Boone, a kid growing up on TV. Because if you're a gamer, you watch a lot of TV, you watch a lot of movies. I'm a Batman fan. I'm a GI Joe guy. I'm a Smurfs in the morning on Saturday morning cartoons, stuff like that. So it was like I watched enough TV, once I got to, be retired. And I'm looked at, I learned about Twitch in like 2016. And so it's like 5, 6 years after the fact. And I was like, how did I not? I was going to E3. How did I miss Twitch? Going to E3 in 2012, 2011, 2013, 14. I'm like, how do I miss advertisements of Twitch or people working for Twitch, walking around with the I don't know how I missed it, but as soon as I found out about it, I did my homework, I did some research, and I was like, oh, I just need a capture card and a computer. If a desktop, I said, you know what, I'm gonna go laptop first, check it out, see how it works. And that's as simple as I could say how I got into it. And then I understood TV, right? Because watching TV, you see commercials, you see all this stuff that makes a show, right? So I was like, man, I thought maybe I have to make commercials, but I don't know. Maybe get sponsors, do that. I don't know, but I'm gonna do it. And but I knew that, oh, this is gonna be my own show, basically. It's gonna be whatever I call my Twitch channel, which is Ahman Green TV, and I get to do that. And it's like, wait a minute, this got to be not real. But when I did my homework and research, I was like, wow, I'm gonna have my own Twitch channel, and I did. So March 16th, 2016 is when I first started streaming.
wow.
And I think that first week of streaming, I did Madden, Naruto, and I think I did NBA Live or a GTA or something like that in that first week of streaming for me. So that's how I got going. And after that I was hooked, and I love doing it because hanging out and learning how to talk to my chat and getting to know my chat, and not only if they're friends and family tuning in, but getting to know people from other countries or other states. That was the fun part because I was a different kid. Like I like going to school on the first day of school. I was
Yeah,
that kid. Very few kids on planet Earth that like to
yeah.
go to school on the first day. I was like him. And my friends were like, what's wrong with you? I was like, what's wrong with you? Don't you have aren't you happy to see me? We can hang out for the next school year. They were like, Aman, this is school. This ain't fun. It's like, whatever, okay. So that's how I got into it, and then been loving doing it ever since the start.
Yeah, for me personally, like I started streaming during the pandemic, and it ended up just being like my way to actually be social during the pandemic. I was like, I'm just gonna be
Right.
sitting at home anyways, playing video games. So let's hop onto Twitch, and we'll just like try to see what's going on there, and just see slowly build up relationships and friendships. And I was just like, man, this is actually like so much fun. And now I'm just like
Yeah.
on Twitch like 24/7. Like all the people in my chat feel like friends and family, and it's such a like a
Yep.
big difference. Like you kind of see it from like the outside. You're like, oh, you're just like sitting around playing video games. All these weird people are just sitting around watching you, but it's totally not like that. Like you create
No, it's not.
great connections with people. Uh, uh,
Yep.
I saw that you became a esports coach. How did that kind of start up? And tell me a little bit about
That
that, because that seems like a
yeah.
big transition from sports as well,
Oh
from normal
yeah. No, I
sports.
had been so it started first with when right after football '09 when I retired, I started coaching high school sports in general. So
Yeah,
football naturally came, and then I coached baseball because I was a baseball player as well, track, and then lifting weights, so powerlifting, stuff like that. And then to me, it was just another easy transition in 2018. So right after, streaming for 2 years, traveling for 10 years to esports events and Comic Cons and E3s, it just was like opportunity popped up through a good friend of mine that I did a leadership development class in course in. He reached out to me, and he was a district superintendent of one of the school districts up in Green Bay, Wisconsin, in Swamico, so Bayport High School. And he said, hey, Ahman, at one of my high schools at Bayport, one of the teachers that's created the esports team, he needs some help. He wanted one extra coach. His name was Luke. What was his last name? His first name was Lucas. I do remember that, Mr. Lucas. And go to the high school, connect with Lucas, and he'll bring you. He'll tell you what he needs you to do. And I'm like, perfect. So I went there, end up being the volunteer esports coach, basically like a intern, which was fine with me because I didn't know what I would know about what I needed to coach. And I found out real fast that he wanted me to help coach with Super Smash Brother players and Overwatch players, so FPS and fighting game. And so I knew right away, Smash, I had been playing it since that new Smash came out in 2018. And then Overwatch had been out for like 3-4 years. So I knew that as well. I played a lot of Overwatch at that time. So I got part of it, came in there the first practice, and then I was there for the rest of the season. I say unbeknownst to me, like I didn't do much as a coach. I'll be honest, that team won state that year.
Nice.
I kind of just supervised it because they were already good. That first day of practice, I was like, I looked at the leader, like the IGL, who was the tank, and then I looked at the other DPS and healer. I was like, this. I say, first practice, coach. He's like, what you think? You think they'll do something good? I said, they're gonna probably win state. If not, I don't know what else is going to happen because they were making all the call outs, in practice, in a practice scrimmage against another high school, and 3-0 them. It was like, this is a pretty darn good team, and sure enough, they won state later that year, in the spring of 2018, basically.
Nice. Do you think
So it
you're
was,
able to help them more with like mental game and all that sort of stuff? Because like I know most of the people playing all the esports teams tend to be very young and probably like very emotional, I would expect. Like, do you think the
uh,
mental aspect was like a major thing that you were able to bring to those people?
yes, it was. I didn't know at the time, but when I started sharing my experience, through football and what I went through, something, if I had made a mistake, fumbled the ball, whatever, or messed up on a block, and I would tell them how I got over that. And that was the biggest thing is like in the video game world, we play so many games, just like we're gonna lose a lot before we win a lot.
Yeah.
So, especially in today's new games where you got from EA to Epic to Riot. They create fun games, but they make them tough too. They don't make them easy, and that's why we play them because they challenge us. And I started telling kids that like, look, these games ain't built for you to just go walk into and dominate it. They make it hard for us to learn it and then get the win. So don't get mad at your teammate or yourself if you lose. That's a learning experience. And so this is what you're going to get. This is how it's going to make you get better. This is how I got better at football. I lost on a lot of football teams before I started winning on a lot of football teams. And same with baseball and basketball. I'm like, so this is what's going to happen. We got to practice every day. We got to watch film, and then we got to encourage each other. And that's what it's real simple. How I was coached, I did with the Bayport team, and then did with Lakeland when I got there. Same with Nebraska for my short stint there as well. So that I think that was a simple way to relay my message where the kids didn't have to overthink it. I was like, because if you overthink Overwatch, then yeah, you're way out the game. It's gonna be tough to play because it's pure chaos when that game is playing. And just
Yeah.
like Marvel Rivals, it is complete chaos when that game is being played.
I saw you also became like a professor for esports or something.
Yeah, it was.
How did the boats of that come about? Like this seems like a very
So
weird
no,
career progression.
yeah, it was something like the type of guy I am. You get to know me, Terry. I don't. I say I don't mess around. Like if I do something, I'm doing it 100%.
Yeah.
And so once I got hired as a coach, I was looking at courses at Lakeland that were on a curriculum. And then I looked online, like what they were teaching at other universities in the country. And so I found out we didn't have one at Lakeland. We didn't have an esports course. So I ended up finding some curriculum and putting it together at Lakeland. So then I became a professor going into my second year at Lakeland. And by the end of my second year, so spring semester and then fall semester, I was teaching a new class called Intro to Esports, which hit all the facets of the esports industry. So it was the high school, college, like the esports side of it.
Yeah.
Then it was the streaming side of it, where you're building out your brand as a content creator, things of that nature. And then it was the business, like org side, like Fanatics and 100 Thieves and Energy, overseas, like how you actually build a company out where you have its structure, where you have a CEO, you have a GM, you have player development, and you have content. You have either pros or content creators that are pros to be part of your esports roster, and for all the titles, for fighting game, for FPS, for what else? Fighting, FPS, and sports games, things of that nature. So that was the curriculum. I ended up studying it for about 3, almost 4 semesters between Nebraska and Lakeland University.
That seems pretty awesome. Like, there's definitely a strange career progression going from professional football player into like esport coach and now professorship in esports. It's definitely a career progression you don't see from like pretty much anyone
No,
else.
no.
uh,
It's pretty cool, and I'm having fun with it, because when my friends be like, "What are you doing now? I heard you doing some e-gaming stuff," and I'm like, "Hold up, time out. It's not e-gaming. E-gaming is gambling." I was like, "So it's esports." I always correct my friends and family when they say that.
did you catch a lot of slack for going into like all this esports stuff from friends and family? Because
I,
like
I say a
as
little bit.
yeah, 'cause I was gonna say like
Yeah, I
when
say
you're
a little bit.
when I was gonna say when you're sorry for cutting you off. I was
Yeah.
gonna say when you're young, like gaming was just for nerds because I definitely understand that part because like we probably grew up around we're probably around the same age and like it was
Yep.
definitely for the nerds and you probably got like a lot of flack for being a gamer as but I guess you're also an athlete so you probably didn't get nearly
No,
as
I,
much.
no, I got a flag. I got a flag. It was coming. I know they did an interview with me with NFL. I can't remember if it was NFL or ESPN, but it's on YouTube. You could search my name and it might pop up. And they interview some of my older coaches. Like, I know they had the coach for the 49ers right now, Kyle Shanahan, who was my coach in Houston. Mike McDaniels, who was the coach in Miami. Now he's I think he's in with the Rams or San Diego. They interviewed them, and they interviewed for maybe some older teammates of mine too. And they were laughing at me, and I'm like, whatever. I was that type of kid, what? People getting teased, would tease me. It didn't bother me, especially
Yeah.
because I'm like, I'm doing stuff I like to do. So you could tease me all you want. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. You're not gonna stop me from doing it just because you're making a joke of it. And so I let that. I've been built like that since I was 5, 6 years old. So it wasn't gonna hurt my feelings at 40 or 49 years old at all.
I saw you create a charity, the Ahman Green Foundation, for underserved children to gain access to games and other things. Is that what it is? Is that what am I
Yep,
right correctly?
I would do when I was playing. I did free football camps for kids,
Yeah,
and now since I'm retired, I'm able to do free camps for kids as esports camps. So I
yeah,
just did one. I'm actually That's why I'm here in Kansas now. So during the day, it started at 9, ended at 3 p.m. was my esports camps. My second year doing it here in Mayetta, Kansas, on a Prairie Band Potawatomi reservation here in Kansas. So
yeah.
it's been an awesome experience. We actually had a hell of a day today. I had a really good talk with them about sportsmanship and accountability and being good teamwork, having good teamwork and good communication in FPS games and team games overall. And then we had a session of Fortnite. No, we had a session of Madden and NBA 2K. And I'm trying to think, did we do Smash? No, today? No, we did that yesterday. So we had NBA 2K and Madden and really good sessions of all that. I say, hey, use what we just went over: the sportsmanship, the teamwork, say good game. Even if you lose, say good game. Shake your teammate, shake the opponent's hand, because you can learn from that loss. You can just not just be mad at them because they beat you, and then, you're not even thinking about getting better. You're mad about that game, and you could go back and look at it. You could review it and get better from your mistakes and do things like that. So we had a good session today, looking to have another good session tomorrow.
I, I was when I was doing my research, I was reading about. I checked out your profile on the Ahman Green Foundation page. They actually shortchanged you on the page. They only listed you as 3 Pro Bowls on there instead of the 4 that you
Yeah,
actually have.
I have 4, yes,
Yeah,
and I have one, I think 2 All Pro.
Yeah.
years,
But like,
2 All Pro years.
you gotta get them to fix it. It's your site, man. You can't have them
I know.
shortchanging you.
I gotta let Weston. I know actually just got some guys make that site just for as a donation
Yeah.
because I'm helping out. So the thing I think you did, I don't know if you did it last year. Remember the Fantasy Boss League,
No, I did. I
like
wasn't part of it.
fantasy football?
Yeah, I wouldn't
Okay,
mind joining
so
it
we
this year though.
doing that. Yeah, so it's Pokemon meets NFL, and Ronald, he's a great guy. He designed that website that you're talking about, so I'll let him know. And actually, I thought I saw everything, but I must have missed it
I was reading
on
it.
that.
I'm like, this isn't right. Let me go double check this. I'm like, no, they shortchanged it.
Right.
So what
Uh,
are you playing nowadays? Like, what is in the Ahman Green library of games that you're running?
oh man, I'm playing Madden. I mean, I will be playing Madden 27 here in a few days when it drops. But I'm playing EA College Football 27 now, which is a little different than last year's. The mechanics just got to get used to them. Yeah. And then when I get home, I'm gonna start finishing up Halo Combat Evolved or Campaign Evolved, the new Halo. And then I just picked up James Bond First Light.
Oh, I tried playing that. That was pretty fun for at least a little bit.
It looks fun. Yep. And then God, what's another one? Trying to think. Hey, can you hold on one sec, Terry?
Yep.
Yep. Hey, what's up? What's the question?
Like I've like with my pole and like any sport, I've had like troubles like mentally,
Yeah.
like with being down on myself, being negative and all that. And I was
Right.
just wondering like what have you done to like if you've had that, what have you done to like help it better?
Oh, I say one thing is just it was something my mom taught me called she said would say to me always thoughts are things. So I thought about the wins. Like, I ran track too. So I was 100 guy. So my biggest fear was slipping out the blocks. My junior year at state, I slipped out the blocks and came in second. So I learned like that right there. That was a lesson. Like, oh man, I was always thinking and worrying about it. So you know what? I need to stop thinking and worrying about something that's going to happen because I manifested right there. And if you believe it or not, maybe it did really happen because I was thinking about it. But either way, it happened. So the next year, I told myself, you know what? When track season come around, I'm gonna not lose even in prelims for hundreds or 200s. And I did. I made it back to state in the 100 and 200 my senior year and then won state from the mindset of I'm not going to even think about coming out the blocks. I'm not going to think about slipping out the blocks because I'm going to come out clean every time. So basically, thoughts are things. If you believe it, you put it in your head, then it's going to happen, good or bad. So you got to think about the good stuff that you want to have for yourself. Success, A's and B's, success on the football field, not getting hurt, playing football and doing your job. You put it in your head positively, it's going to come out positively. All right.
Thank you.
And I remember last year, you had a lot of good questions last year. I just remembered your face and everything. So yeah. All right. You're welcome.
All right, Zan. Good work.
Yep. All right. Sorry, Terry.
No problem.
Yeah.
Those are some very good inspirational words to that person you're talking to.
Yep.
Okay, so tell me about your Gamers Lounge podcast with Akido. How long you been doing that, and all
Shoot.
the
With
things.
Akido last 2 years, he's joined in as a co-host.
Yeah.
We gotta change the intro because that's from my old co-host. So we always laugh about that. And so I've been doing that podcast since I want to say 29, right before COVID.
Yeah.
I think 2019. I have like over 300 episodes now.
Nice.
So that's when I started. Yeah, I started in sometime. So I can't remember what month, but it was in 2019 for sure.
What made you decide to start up a podcast? You just want to talk about more things to talk about gaming?
Basically, yep. And like, because it was like I would go, I'm already going to the cons. So on some trips to the cons, I was like, man, it'd be cool. Because I was watching Twitch. I started watching Twitch and see people do that, travel to events and, do the IRL stuff and the vlogging and all that. So I was like, you know what? Came home one day and put together. I had one of my friends from college. She was a graphic artist. She was like, Aman, you got any designs or ideas of designs if you want to do this podcast. We talked about it for like a month or so. And then I was like, all right, I said, put something together and then show it to me and then go from there. And then she did. She made what we see now, what you see now as the Ahman Green's Gamer Lounge with the neon lights and everything. And I was like, I love it. I was like, this is perfect. And then the next thing I had to do is then develop the run of show, like what I'm gonna talk about, what's gonna be the podcast, like conversation. And so it's like real easy. Okay, we talk video games, we talk movies, and we talk topics in the industry, stuff that companies are doing, what games they got coming out, you know, hire and firing of people, which happens all the time in the gaming space. And then prices going up and down on video games from, you know, Xbox to PlayStation to Game Pass to Steam, new consoles coming out, whatever. So I was like, that's what I want to talk about because that's where I'm at. That's where I live right now. I'm working and playing and having a good time. So
What are your thoughts on the changing of no more physical media, like no more discs to
ah,
grab games?
my heart is breaking. For years, I know it's coming because I just know because things change and companies want to save money or they want to make money. So yeah, I saw the writing on the wall. I think COVID year. I don't know what it was, but it was just like this. It was in my gut. And then now, where it's like they got a timeline on it now with PlayStation saying
Yeah,
that
next
they
year.
got 20. Yeah, is it next year or 2020? Whatever.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. They're gonna stop doing it. Where you're just gonna get a game code emailed to you or text to you when you buy the game. Now it's oh man, my heart is breaking because I grew up on disc and cartridges
Yeah.
from Nintendo to the first PlayStation. I remember seeing getting my first PlayStation 1 and seeing a CD. That was like, oh man, this is so cool. Like everything is on this disc. It's not a cartridge no more. Even though I still had a Nintendo at that time and a
Yeah.
Sega Genesis at that time. So yeah, my heart's breaking every day when I hear that.
I grew up in the same age as you. Like, I had all the cartridges and everything, but I think it's a very different time nowadays. Like, the games aren't polished. Like, you can't just like grab a game, just throw it in your disc, and just play offline anymore. Everything is all
No,
online components. You got like download like 17 patches when you buy a game, and you're just like, I got the game in
but
like 6 hours from now. I can start playing. Yes, and it downloads all
wow,
the
yes,
patches.
yep. I was like when you travel like myself, I go and plug into and for the hotel, and then when I was at home just the day before, I updated my Xbox, and then I get to the hotel, then it's another update. I'm
Yeah.
like, what? And then I gotta wait an hour. It's like, come on, man. Oh man.
Uh, uh, you're also recently came out that you're diagnosed with Parkinson's. Do you want
Mhm.
to talk about that? Like, how you think that's going to obviously affect you going forward and all your efforts? Are you going to like adjust your charity or create a new charity for Parkinson's research or any of that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I'm in the process of and a lot of great support from friends, my teammates, family, over the last week and a half. And so one, just got to follow up with them. But then two, yeah, there's a couple companies. I mean, everybody, I know GoFundMe reached out to me. So I'm going to think about doing something. Me and my wife, once I get home, really talk about it because it's been, a lot of contact, a lot of
Yeah.
reach out, which has been great. A lot of support, a lot of positive support, which is awesome. So now just take my time. I'm not going to rush into it. Take my time, and definitely I want to do something where in a partnership with PD with Parkinson disease. A couple friends of mine I know have connections with the Michael J. Fox side of his Parkinson Foundation, so maybe collaborate with them on some things. So just I say yes. So something is coming. Definitely to my Twitter page, to my social media, and efforts to continue to I say one, spread the awareness, get a part of where people talk about their illnesses a little bit more openly. I say
Yeah.
not they don't have to go like deep into the woods, but at least saying, hey, I got this and this is what I'm doing to live with it. And then this I'm making you aware and this is what y'all can do to help other people with this, because I remember earlier this year, and I've said this on a few talks already. I think it was Dan Patrick interviewing Bo Jackson, who was one of my idols as a kid. Talk about what was going on with his body. This was back at Super Bowl of this year, 49, San Francisco Super Bowl, excuse me. And he mentioned, hey, I just got my prostate removed and some other things are going on with me. He said, hey, I'm putting it out there that football guys got to talk more about their health. Talking to his NFL guys that played with him before him or after him. So I took it as, you know what, I got to do this, because I already knew at that time what had been going on, what I've been diagnosed. And the first thing I did was tell my kids.
Yeah.
Obviously, I got four daughters and a son, and obviously my wife knew, so told all my kids that, and they went through the process of listening and asking questions if I'm okay and all that. And the good thing is, yes, I'm okay. I'm gonna just continue to live my life the way I have been, because I eat very clean, I work out a lot, and you can probably talk to Akido about that. He's always wondering what I'm doing from time after time. But and then obviously taking my regimen of the meds that I've been prescribed, and being also referred to other items, other minerals that are out there to help from a naturalistic, holistic standpoint to help combat Parkinson's disease.
All right. So my podcast mate has a fantasy football podcast, but he wanted to ask me to ask you this question since he couldn't be on here. He said
Okay.
no, there's nothing to do with fantasy football, but I thought I'll at least mention that he has a fantasy football podcast. Huge football fan. He says, in your career you have played with Warren Moon, Brett Favre, and Aaron Rodgers. Which is the greatest quarterback you have played with, and why is it Matt Hasselbeck?
That's a good one. Oh, well, Matt knocked himself out of that a long time ago when he said that they're gonna get the ball and score a touchdown in the playoff game when I was a playoff team captain. So that was trash talking in my book, and I was like, bro, come on. But out of the three guys, man, I gotta go with the guy really played with the longest. Nothing against Aaron, and Aaron is obviously going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, fantastic guy. But I had more field time with number 4 Brett Favre, and he's a brother to me. I mean, just recently, he called me, not too long ago to talk about what we have in common, basically, because he's also dealing with Parkinson's, and then find out he's Choctaw Nation as well, which I'm Choctaw Nation in terms of my native roots that I've been discovering over the last several years. And so we have a lot in common. And then we just shared, it's just amazing that we're able to share, football years together. And I watched him, at the end of his career, extend more years because of a competitor that he is. And so it was fun to play with him and to have that time with, at that time, one of the greats, and him coming out of us a couple Super Bowls when they won one, they lost one, but just to know that I was watching him when I was in college as a sophomore go win against the Patriots, and then I got to be his teammates, was just, as a sports fan, it's like it doesn't get any better than that.
All right, last question for me. Who was the best gamer that you play with in during your NFL games? Because I know football players and sports players tend to be big gamers in general during the trips.
Yeah.
And who was the absolute worst gamer that you played with?
The worst, the best. I would say the best was Willis McGahee. He kicked my ass in Madden one time, 106 to nothing.
Oh man,
I was bad that day. And then the worst, I would say the worst, not necessarily the worst, but he was only, I'm gonna say he's the worst because he was trash talking me. It was one of my old teammates, Donald Driver.
Oh,
I love him to death. I love Donald to death, but he trash talked me in a game of Madden, thinking that he was, the whole time before we played the game, he was like, Aman, he's like giving me this sense of like he's gonna kick my butt, right? And I was like, all right, what you want to do? Because he heard like Robert Ferguson came up to him. He thought he heard a conversation. He heard the conversation between me and Robert about why on the game of mine your character keeps fumbling the ball. And I'm like, I don't know. It's Madden. It's whatever. But then, so Donald took that as, oh, he could play me in Madden and beat me. So what I did was, we ended up having dinner over, me and my wife came over his house to have dinner. And long story short of it, we played, we sat down, and I ruled them 21-0 in the first quarter. And I just looked at him and I'm like, this is your fault. You know, you were trash talking me. He said, man, Robert told me that. I said, Robert was asking me about a video, the thing in the game, not that I played, because I played. I was like, when I had free time, I was playing Madden, so you thought I was an easy win. I said, that's why you just got dubbed. You was talking all that running his mouth, so he was the worst player. I love him to death like a brother, but I was like, bro, Donald, you can't do that, man. You can't trash talk me. You can't do it. I'm gonna show up to play. I'm gonna show up to play.
Thank you so much for your time, Ahman. I really appreciate it. It's actually you're definitely like a super down to earth guy, and I definitely enjoy talking to you. I find you actually quite inspirational now that I've talked to you a little bit more. And thank you so much for your
Terry,
time.
you're welcome. And we could do this anytime, man. I know I'm on the road,
Yeah.
but later in the fall this year, I'll be at home when I'm it's Tuesdays that you do it. Like I know I'll be home I'm usually home on Tuesdays. That's rarely a travel day for me. Yep.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for your time, Ahman.
Hey, no problem, Terry. Talk to you later, buddy.
Have a good day. Bye.
Hey, you too. Bye.